Join us as we talk Division 2 roller coaster ride at launch on Stadia, Raytracing coming to the platform, Bungie cherishing Stadia, pre-Doom excitement, and a whole lot more. Let's get into it.
Not sorry. Stay sick cause I follow my gut. They say I was pushing my luck. I'ma push me, I'm at all black truck. Oh, I'm not sorry.
What's up, people? What's up, people? What's up, people? It is your boy, MM2K, back again with another episode of the Stadia Stream Connect podcast, episode 11. It's not supposed to say 10 right there. I'm going to fix that real quick. But big ups to everybody that is watching this either live or watching this on demand. We got a very decent show lined up for you today, my good friends. All right, let me just take a look at some. We got some technical difficulties going on here. I'm clicking here, there, everywhere. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. All right, so let me just do this real quick because we're going to fix that aesthetic, right? We got to at least do that, right? We got to do that. And let's show that one. There we go. There we go. All right, that's the right aesthetic. This is episode 11. And then what I also want to do, my friends, is I want to tweet this out because we got to let everybody know that we're live, right? We got to definitely do that. So let's tweet this out. Let's let everybody know that we are live. So everybody know that they can join us and they can partake in all this excellent news that we are about to indulge in. Let me see. Let me see here. We are live. Okay. And let's add. All right. And boom, there we go. Okay. And then we're going to take that too. And then we're also going to let people know via the Stadia Dosage homepage that we are live as well. Okay. Yeah. We could do it like this. Let's do it like that. All right. So everybody know. Okay. So thank you very much, everybody. Hold on. I got this Mensa candidate on Twitter. He says, I've been a fan of gaming. Have a preference. Does it make you? I'm a mature adult. I don't be civil. Okay, just shut up. I just love the fanboys and fangirls that get upset with me because I don't praise all things Phil Spencer on Xbox. I mean, we'll touch on that a little bit here in the prologue. Because it does on the periphery involve Stadia a little bit, because we're going to talk about the game stack that Xbox did yesterday that flew under the radar, but we caught it, baby. We caught it. So definitely let everybody know that this is live because we got a lot of good stuff to go over. With that being said, you know, hey, look, Xbox went out there and said some things about their specifications. They got to do that. They got to promote the power. It was questionable if they had the power in their hands. You know what I'm saying? Because there were so many rumors about PlayStation. PlayStation came out there, as far as I'm concerned, yesterday and dropped the ball in their presentation. I'm not saying that the PlayStation 5 is garbage or trash. I didn't go that far. During the live reaction that we did on Next Gen 720's channel, I made it a point to mute all the background noise and all the foolery they were getting into. Excuse the pig. And I was listening on my own. And every now and again, I would hear somebody say something off the wall and I would chime in and be like, hold on, no, you're going off. You know what I mean? So I made it my duty to try to keep things balanced and perspective. But, you know, when you have people that are reacting to stuff, and I'm not necessarily talking about the panel, I'm talking about people in the audience, you know what I'm saying, in the chat. They want to take it from one end of the pendulum or the other. You know, it's either trash or it's godly. You know, there is no nuance. So with that being said, I think it's fair to say that the presentation did fall flat, and that's putting it nicely. It didn't go over well. A lot of PlayStation people that I know are now eyeballing the Xbox Series X, but there was a big point being made by a lot of publications and a lot of people in the gaming community in the know. And to me, myself personally, I kind of feel this way. I'm very interested in the fact that they didn't just brute force a console because it's already got 9.2 teraflops of RDNA 2. So they're equivalent teraflops as far as how they're being rated. They're all RDNA 2 based, right? With that being said, okay, you got 9.2 teraflops with 1.8 teraflops of GCN versus 6 teraflops of the Xbox One X. Sony was able, with their rapid pack math, they were able to make better looking games on the 1.8 teraflop machine that was on the 6 teraflop machine. So the teraflops mean nothing to me. I want to hear about innovation. And what I heard in regards to innovation, I heard more out of PlayStation, honestly, as far as them wanting to expand worlds. Did I hear a heck of a whole lot that made me go, oh, wow, this is going to change gaming forever? I didn't hear that, but I heard their approach to be a little bit more in that gear. You know what I'm saying? We hosted a show called Scram Punks on Dirk Griggity's channel, label bait of mine's on PNTS Network. He does a fantastic job. He's over 1,000 now. He should have been over 1,000. He's one of the Xbox guys out here that creates unique, funny, entertaining, charming content, and he knows his stuff. You know what I'm saying? And he knows how to break it down to the average Joe Schmo. On heels of him breaking 1,000, his platform is getting the notoriety that it should have gotten a long time ago. And now they have a great podcast called We Bleed Green. It airs every Monday around 7 p.m., maybe 6 p.m. sometimes. Fantastic show. Is getting a lot of traction. With that being said, we also run a podcast on there that started before We Bleed Green. It's called Scram Punks. The purpose originally of Scram Punks was to get the older gamers' perspective of gaming, regardless of what your favorite box is, right? So we do all that, and we do it every weekly, and it leads to entertaining podcasts. Well, the people that are coming over to Dirk Griggity's channel, they want 24/7 Phil State TV, Phil Spencer State, and that's not happening as far as Scram Punks is concerned. You know, Scram Punks is going to remain authentic. It's going to be separate from that, and I think it's important that when PlayStation is doing good, we don't just have a whole bunch of PlayStation people on there. When Xbox is doing good, we don't have a bunch of Xbox. And I hate that element about gaming. Normally, people that want that type of catering, I ignore them. But in this time right now where we need to operate in the middle, we don't want anybody that's too far left or too far right as far as the side of PlayStation or Xbox. We don't want nobody in that vein, because we need the unsuspecting gamer to have the information parsed for them accurately. And I just detest people who think like that, or I detest that mind state rather. Maybe detesting people is too strong of a word. I don't like that. Stop putting the unsuspecting gamer in a bad loop because you want to hear 24/7 Phil State TV or 24/7 Jim Ryan TV. And then this person that's going back and forth with me claims to be an older gamer. That makes it even more pathetic. Like that stuff really agitates me. Stop trying to put the unsuspecting gamer in a bad loop. Information is key. If you don't like that there's different differentiating opinions, then go elsewhere. There's a podcast for you on Monday. So lickety split, get out of here. So that's my prologue right now. We tweeted this out. Do me a favor, guys. Y'all tweet this out as well. And I would appreciate it. Hey, yo, let me see who we got in the chat. We got Antonio. Let's go. We got Jag Vadra, my homie that saved me on Ghost Week on Breakpoint. We got Cloud Zero. What's good? What is good, my friend? Who else we got in here? We got Charles Aran. What is up? Hey, any news yet? I didn't see anything new just of yet. I was scouring Stadia source before we went live. So who knows? Maybe we'll get something during the podcast. Somebody will make me abreast of it, and we'll take it from there. But again, I appreciate everybody here. Let's get into this, baby. First and foremost, I want to get into it, but I ain't got my show notes. Okay, so that was my prologue, and now I'm going to shut up and get into the news. So let's talk about it. First and foremost, the Division 2. Do I have a graphic up? I'm just going to have to go to stadiasource.com. Let's go to stadiasource.com. And I'm going to share my screen. Share our screen. All right, there we go. Good. Okay. Tom Clancy's The Division 2 dropped March 17th, which was 2 days ago, which was on a Tuesday. Okay. So, excuse me, my particular history with this game, and I'll try not to be too long-winded about this, is I'm a big Tom Clancy Division fanboy. Okay. I originally planned not to even pick up a current gen console. You know what I'm saying? What I was going to do was, as I left the 360 generation and I started seeing how everything was being advertised. Now, bear with me here. I know y'all like, hold on, he's going into the weeds again. No, bear with me. Follow me here. I'm going to make this make sense. When all that was happening and they was talking about bibawatts and gigahertz, and then you had Xbox in the periphery talk about Connect, I knew right then and there, I said, this generation is going to be lackluster. We're not going to get the same innovation that we got this prior generation. Why? Because 360 came in there and changed the game. They finally put a chink in the armor of PlayStation. And the PlayStation people didn't like it. So they were going to come bigger and badder as far as polygon and compute units. If you guys remember, at the beginning of the generation, they did a lot of promotion of Uncharted 4 and the engine they were using for Uncharted 4 and the realistic looks. And I was like, but that's not it, Jack. I'm not worried about that. So everywhere I looked, I saw polygons and compute units being focused on. And I said to myself, well, if that's going to be the focal point of gaming this generation, I might as well just get me a PC where the polygon and compute units are the best. So I built my master PC. The problem with my master PC, though, was as I was getting into PC gaming at that time, it's not as bad as it is now. It's not as bad as it was then now. But at that time, at the beginning of this generation, around 2011, 2012, there was a lot of cheating, a lot of hacking on PC. And it made it unbearable. So that was one thing that was sticking in the back of my mind, because my most anticipated game going into this generation was The Division. Excuse me. When I saw it at E3, where it was revealed at the end of the Ubisoft presentation, I was floored and amazed. And I said, this is the type of game that I've been looking for. Open world game, journeying, you know what I'm saying? Shoot 'em up game, you know what I'm saying? Where it's like, it looked like that the interactions were dynamic. I always, a real live breathing world where you have to survive is something that I always fixated my imagination on as far as gaming was concerned. And Division seemed like that was going to be it. So that was my number one game. Meanwhile, while I'm waiting for that game to come, another game called Destiny, not 2, but Destiny comes aboard. Never thought I'd be engrossed in the game as I end up being engrossed in it, but I was. I was engrossed in the game so much that it changed my plan of getting or not getting a next-gen console. I got an Xbox One because when the Destiny DLC was starting to diverge, they said, hey, look, you want this year 2 stuff, you got to get an Xbox One or PlayStation 4. And I was already on 360, so I just converted to Xbox One. That changed everything for me. And then I ended up getting Division on Xbox One. And Xbox One had the marketing rights for the Division. So I can't remember if it came with anything. I don't remember. But I got Division on I got the $100 pack on launch day. And I liked the Division 1. It had some laws for me in a little bit, but I love grinding it out. I didn't have any problems with it. And then when the Underground came, and when the I forgot the Division 1.5 or whatever they call it, 1.8 updates came out, it was like a totally different game. Really was like 2 games into one. So I really got a soft spot in my heart about the Division. So Division 2 drops, and it drops with a plethora of content, and I'm loving it. But I got it for PC, and I'm playing it on PC at 60 frames per second. So I want to stream this thing. The problem is that for PC gaming, streaming and OBS and Ubisoft games don't all mix. It's like water, oil, and kerosene and a fire. You know what I'm saying? And Ubisoft games ain't always optimized for streaming at launch. So then that dismayed me because I'm a streamer. You know what I'm saying? Or I try to be to the best of my ability. So I moved on to other games. That made it easier for me to stream, right? And Ghost Recon Breakpoint comes along. You know what I'm saying? I'm playing that. And I had difficulties streaming that natively. So then I'm pissed. I'm like, golly, I'm upset. I can't really get the capabilities that I want in these games, and it's not working out the way that I wanted to. Then along comes Stadia, right? And my initial plans with Stadia, and I apologize for those of you that heard this over 1,000 times. My initial plans with Stadia was this was not going to be my de facto platform. I got Stadia to play The Division on the go. You know what I'm saying? Via Uplay Plus. That's the only reason why I only wanted Stadia. I said, when I'm at the mall with my wife and she's spending up all my damn money and I want to play The Division on the go on my phone when she's in Victoria's Secret for hours upon hours, I'll just sit here on my phone and play The Division 2. And then if what's it called comes, what do you call that damn game? Cyberpunk 2077 comes out, I'll play that on the go. That was the only reason why I wanted Stadia. At the time, I didn't know when GFN was going to get out of beta, and GFN wasn't the greatest performing over a network all the time. When you were out of home network, like if you were on like a Wi-Fi, like a mall or something like that, it didn't always bode well. It was okay, didn't always look well. And Stadia had mentioned itself or had advertised itself as being an all-in-one system that just, you transfer the drop of a hat. So I just figured it would work better outside of the home. That was my only intention for Stadia. But then I played Stadia. Y'all saw my Destiny 2 on the browser video, and the rest is history. I was totally floored and amazed, and it only got better from there. So then I get Ghost Recon Breakpoint on the system, and it plays fantastic. So now I'm thirsty, and then Borderlands come, but primarily Ghost Recon Breakpoint. So now I'm like, okay, now I'm waiting for Uplay Plus, but Uplay Plus isn't coming yet. So then they finally dropped The Division 2. Okay. And I've been waiting for this game for a very long time on this platform. So the game comes and I'm waiting I'm even having a hard time sleeping. I'm not even lying. I'm having a hard time sleeping because yes, I got it for a PC where I can play it at 60 frames per second, but trying to play at 4K 60 and streaming it was a no-no. And yes, I got it for console, but them choppy 25, 27, 30 frames per second is a no-no. So now it comes to Stadia. And I couldn't sleep, excuse me. Because one of the reasons why is I didn't even know how much this thing was going to be, y'all. None of us did. And I said to myself, and I told the story earlier on Jamani's podcast, and big ups to him. I'm going to leave a link to his podcast below so you can listen to it after this one if you weren't there with us this morning. But what I did is I allotted $90 because I said in worst case scenario, I suspected I'm gonna get year one content, the base game for 60, and then the Warlords of New York is going to be an additional 30. I said that's worst case scenario. In my mind, there was like a 10% chance of that. I said there was a 70 to 80% chance that I can get everything for at least $60. And then there was another 10% chance, 10 to 20% chance I could get it for cheap. But I was fixated that I was only going to pay $60 for this thing. And when I woke up at 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Tuesday, to my disappointment, the base game was 30. To get everything, it was a total of $85. I said to hell with it. I allotted 90. I'm going to get it. So I got it. Only to find out that when I booted up the game, in minute intervals, it kept popping me out of the game with a Delta 3 error. I was pissed. I was so pissed that y'all saw the podcast. I went and did 2-hour stream where I just lambasted Ubisoft. I sprinkled a little bit of learn from this Google in there, but I lambasted Ubisoft. Only for two things to happen. First and foremost, it started working. Somebody came in the chat and said, MM2K, it's working now, bro. Hop in there. And I said, great, okay. So I hopped in there. And it indeed was working. Then while I'm playing, someone else came and said, MM2K, now the game is on sale. With a whole pack, everything like you were suspecting was $60. And I said, okay, well, I'm going to have to get a refund. I said, but I used Google Play points to buy this game. So I'm going to wait till the points come back and then I'll buy, so I had to wait several hours. It wasn't an immediate process. Got back in the game and I loved it. And it's working now. The game is beautiful. If StreamYard went beyond 30 frames per second in 720p, I would show it to you right now. But that's okay. Just go look at my previous streams. I did one yesterday, I believe, where you can see the game. The game looks marvelous. All right. That 4K browser, like that whole GFN. And I love it. I love it because we had this whole talk with the whole industry that GFN looks better than Stadia via its client. Not anymore. Like it didn't look better than Stadia on the CCU, and it definitely doesn't look better than Stadia via the 4K browser. So that's dead. That old revelation is dead. That being said, I still maintain a lot of what I said. And I'm not taking it away. Now, people say to me, MM2K, maybe you should scale back a little bit. Maybe you were just a little too boisterous and too rambunctious in your dismay and your vocal venom towards Ubisoft. And I say absolutely not. Here's why. I look at it like this. This thing should have launched with pro deals. Like there's no way. I wholeheartedly believe that Ubisoft wasn't going to do no pro deal with this. That's what I believe. And I could be wrong about that. I don't think that the game just launched early on the platform without the pro deals. And I don't believe that because people that tried to get refunds couldn't get refunds at first. I think Ubisoft was just like, no, this is what you're going to get. This is a port. We feel like it should be full price. Let's do it, baby. And I think because the more, I don't want to say close. I'm not going to use the word close anymore as far as to describe the relationship with Ubisoft and Stadia anymore. I don't consider these type of practices close. I don't. But I would say that the proximity of the relationship, because they work such in a close proximity together. I think it was easier for Google to say, we got this cat live on the air, hissing a fit. We got people trying to call in and get refund. I mean, we got people that are trying to, like, they're not happy about this, bruh. What are you going to do, Ubisoft? And Ubisoft said, you know what? Excuse the pig. I'm sorry. It's probably in our best long-term interest to go ahead and approve those pro deals that you guys were talking about. And they did it. And kudos for them in finally doing that. But I said all of that to say this. I got to keep my eye on Ubisoft now because what did I say earlier? all their games are high as hell on the platform. $120 for old behind games. I didn't really see them as a viable partner. But hold on, y'all. Now, y'all see this? Ever since we said that, oh, look at here. Oh, boy, look at here. Look at that. All of a sudden, they dropped all the prices on all these games. On all this stuff. All the prices. The Ultimate Edition was $119. Now it's only $40. Look at all this Ubisoft goodness, baby. Trials has even dropped. Look. Yes. And this is what I'm talking about, people. As I said in the podcast before, someone came to me a long time ago, and I've heard all this stuff in the periphery. Someone came to me a long time ago, and they said, MM2K, we like your content. It's very entertaining. We just wish, and we see bigger things for you, we just wish that you would stop calling people out. Because by you calling people out, it makes them feel uncomfortable. And because it makes them feel uncomfortable, you can't grow. And to them, I said, I got you, Chief. But here's the deal. I am not in the belief system that I got to appease you when you're doing the consumer wrong. I'm in a belief system that it may take us some time, by chip, step by step, we will get large enough to where when you people start effing up, they got to come to us to clean out their integrity. You see what I'm saying? Prime example I use, I'm not trying to get political. Meet the Press. Do you think those politicians want to come on Meet the Press and get put through the ringer? Tim Ruster, Chuck Todd, whoever the hell is there? No. But that entity is so big, and you can't solidify your message if you run away from that platform. And that's what we're creating here with the help of you. We're no longer going to let the liars and the agenda holders narrate the story here in the gaming community. Absolutely not. So I'm not going to take credit, but I think the platform, which is bolstered up by you, helped create this scenario. And we're going to keep doing what we're doing when things go too far. Look, I'm a very patient man. May not sound like it right now, but I'm a very patient man. Very patient. And I understand how the business works. I've been doing it for 20 plus years. So I'm a little bit more patient, a little bit more understanding when the general public is like, oh, that's too much, that's crazy, yuck. In reverse, I say, look, slow down. There's a reason behind this, blah, 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 blah. But when you got high behind prices, your support ain't shining through the way it's supposed to, Uplay Plus. And now the Division 2 you're gouging us on, but then you make it, but it don't work for us, but it worked for them on their weaker platforms. Then that's when something has to be said. So I will say this. I got my eye out on Ubisoft and how really down they are with Stadia, but I will give them a kudos. That this sale right here is the bomb. I appreciate it. And how rapidly they fixed that issue, even though it shouldn't have happened, was good as well. And that's the Ubisoft that I want to see supporting this platform. Because this thing is going to grow. They're not going to be the redheaded stepchild forever. Stadia is going to grow. And if I'm Google, I will have long-term memory. And those that are with us will be heavily rewarded. Those that are against us, hey, you fill in the blanks. But with that said, my overall experience with Division, with all Ubisoft games, as far as the performance, they're fantastic. Again, they have that close proximity relationship, so they should be. But I'll tell you, Division 2 on Stadia, my God, my God, my God. It's the best. Why is it the best? Because not only are you getting 60 frames per second, not only are you getting great fidelity, but you get it without having to sacrifice so much natively in order to stream it like you do on PC. Period. 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 So that's that for Division 2. Let's get to some of the questions. My man Brian in the house. What's up, Brian? Killer B, Brian. What's going on, brother? How you doing, man? The known fugitive. Good to see you, my good brother, as always. We got the homie, Stadia Weekly One. Hey, thank you, Stadia Weekly One, for cleaning up my mess. After all my bickering and yelling and shaking my old wrinkly fist out the window, my homie Stadia Weekly One cleaned it up and showed you how clean that Division 2 looked, baby. It was crispy and clean. Oh, God. Yes. Big ups to Stadia Weekly One. We got Cloud Zero now. He said Ubisoft sell before the drop of Uplay Plus, the double dip method in full. Hey, yo, I feel you, brother. And look, I'm still a Uplay member. I don't know why, because I don't play on PC anymore, all like that. But hey, it's my wife's credit card. And the homie Shay Campo in the house. He said that Cloud Zero, Sony wins again. Developers don't want to program for Series X. Shay, where you see that at, good brother? Shaking here with some PlayStation propaganda. I don't see where. He says they want that PlayStation 5 SSD goodness. And I will say this, though. That, yeah, you got two totally different. You got a lot of the same technologies with SSD, with fast loading, with RDNA 2 architecture, CDNA, whatever all that bibble babble is. You got a lot of that base stuff, right? You got all that stuff at the base. But once you get past that, you got two totally different concepts on how to handle dedicated devices. Concept number one is brute force. So you get the polygons and compute units, right? Method two is we are going to create this intricate system that's new to affect gameplay. Which one do you think your boy MM2K favors? Because you hear me riling against the polygons and compute units all the time. The polygons and compute units only are as good as they are as fitting an immersive environment. If the game is boo-boo, then I could care less how pretty the polygons are. And the fact that PlayStation 5 is looking to alter gameplay at its core, I'm more interested in that. And especially, I think a shake. Again, this is not a PlayStation podcast, so I'm going to have to move on before I lose my followers. But I am hoping if PlayStation can better sell that narrative, and I explained this in my video earlier today, if they can better explain that narrative and drop this console at $400, I'm in, baby. I'm all in. I might be in day one. Now, Stadia is still going to be my supreme, but I support innovation. I support innovation. You know what I mean? And as far as Microsoft is concerned, if I want the prettiest polygons and compute units, I'm planning on upgrading my card anyway, my internal card. I just get it on PC. I'm not getting a Series X. They've given me no reason to get one. And people may say, well, that's what Xbox wants, but I don't think they fully vetted this out. If I recline myself to just buying Xbox stuff off of PC and millions and millions and millions of people follow me, then guess what I'm not buying? I'm not buying Fortnite And I'm not buying Fortnite DLC on Xbox's ecosystem. I'm getting them via the PC. I'm not buying Call of Duty and buying Call of Duty DLC. And that stuff is what kept Xbox afloat, even though they were underperforming as far as units sold. All that DLC and stuff is what kept them afloat in a lot of ways, as far as the game sales on the platform. So I don't think they figured this out. What they're hoping to do is to cover the gap in that DLC with Game Pass subscriptions. But I don't think Game Pass has a big enough impact. We like to talk about it a lot. Yeah, that game, they put Surge 2 in there. Oh, yeah. We like to talk about it a lot, but how many of y'all got it? And if it was so sought after, like I told my homie Jamadi this morning, people would be running to the stores, buying up Xboxes in droves and slapping people in the back of the neck, trying to get one like they are over toilet paper right now. But they're not. None of those games that hit Game Pass are in the most played games. As a matter of fact, Gears 5, the tell-all be-all game over the last few months, guess what's being played more on Xbox right now than Gears 5? Oh, you want to find out? Hold on, let me do this. And I know this is a Stadia platform. Let me see. Most played Xbox One games. Let's do this, baby. Let's do this. Let me raise this for you. Oh, yeah. Oh, there goes Gears 5. Guess what's above Gears 5? Fallout 76. Fallout 76. One of the lowest rated big production games this generation. Now, y'all know that's one of the games that I like. I won't say personal favorite. I gave it a 7.5. And I like the game. I love Fallout games for the most part. Me and Fallout have a love-hate relationship. I love it, and then it does something to me, it pisses me off, and then I step away from it, and then I play it again. I love it. That's our ebb and flow. That being said, one of the lowest rated games this generation is being played more than Gears 5. Excuse me. Think about that. Think about that. So with that being said, I don't know how successful they are going to be filling in that gap of the missing DLC with Game Pass subscriptions unless they get day-and-date games that drive in the masses. And they have to do that. So, but big ups to Shake Kappa with that comment. I appreciate you, good brother. All right. So, let's continue on. I'm getting better at timing, y'all. Normally, I'd be an hour on the first topic. But let's continue on. Let's go to topic 2, which is Bungie speaks highly on Stadia during the COVID-19 issue. I'm going to do this. Let's go here. Let's bring this over here. All right. So this is a tweet that I noticed. Well, first I noticed a tweet by Mr. Phil Harrison. Big ups to Mr. Phil Harrison, man. The VP that's running Stadia on behalf of Google. But he retweeted something from Bungie, where it says Bungie's preparedness in the situation has been incredible. The Stadia solution has been a godsend. And people might be thinking, what? Stadia solution? What the hell are they talking about? Well, let's take a look at it. So this is Bungie's statement in far as the COVID-19 response. I'm going to read the first paragraph because it talks about pretty much their preparedness in regards to having to deal with the outbreak. And they say, for the past several weeks, we've been busy working to prepare Bungie for the impact of COVID-19 outbreak. Now that we're all in our efforts, we thought it would be a good time to share some of what we've learned and some of the plans that we've put in place in case they could be more helpful to other game studios, tech companies, or indeed in any organization that is facing immediate challenges of this coronavirus pandemic. And they go over a litany of stuff, a slew of stuff, right? But one of the biggest things that amazed me is this thing right here, where they talk about, they said they are setting up play testing remotely, meaning they're doing it from home. Consider how your platform, you're play testing the office and what new infrastructure you may need. We have been fortunate to be supported by Google Stadia to scale up our remote play testing capabilities quickly. Y'all see that? Make that bigger for y'all. Boom. Oh, that was too damn big. Too damn big? Yeah, that was too damn big. The rent's too damn high. Okay, there we go. Again, for those of you that were doubtful of Google Stadia's impact and what it could do for gaming altogether, there goes a classic example right there. This platform is no joke. Its capabilities are wide-reaching. It is not to be snoozed on. And because of this, a major company like Bungie, with a major game like Destiny, that still sees, over 1 million players a week concurrently on the platform, they're able to keep things rocking and rolling because of Google Stadia. So you that out there that like Destiny, you get your Destiny because of Google Stadia. That's the power behind this platform. And again, it's not one to be taken lightly. All right? Do me a huge favor, y'all. Tweet this out. Let everybody know that we are live, okay? That we are live and we're breaking down all the latest and greatest in Stadia news. Now, why is this important? This is important because people have said that Stadia is dead, that Stadia is trash, that they failed us with the 10.7 teraflops because Digital Foundry said, so because Digital Foundry said, this thing is trash. And this goes to show you how important this platform is, that it is saving gameplay of a major game for various other platforms. Wow. We got a great question here from my homie Vajra. He says, so with the hit to the economy, do you see consoles even being able to sell well if they don't get delayed? Hey, Vajra, look, good brother. And shame on me, because I didn't even make you a mod. You got to be a mod for that question, man. Vajra, I'm an old man. My time is limited, good brother. I am not smart enough to answer these type of questions. No, it's an excellent question by Vajra. Golly, let me go over that again. So with the hit to the economy, do you see the consoles even being able to sell well if they don't get delayed? God damn, that's a good question. Because we haven't felt that hit yet. And this is something that everybody has to keep in mind. And I'm not saying this with glee. This don't make me happy. I want gamers to buy everything. Even if you never want Google Stadia in your portfolio ever, I don't care. I just want gamers that do want it or are interested in it to be told the truth about it, than not to be shunned away from it based upon lies. But as a game, I'm a gamer first. And I want gamers to enjoy everything as much as they can. And as prices go up, as things get ridiculous to consume, that's a hurt piece for me too. So you guys got to think, man. Look, here's something that y'all got to put in the back of your data banks, right? That's me tapping my hair. You hear that? That's me tapping my gray hair. And the likelihood and the possibility that you guys are going to see high prices on these consoles because of, like what Roger says, the economy. These prices, what I just said that the PlayStation 5 needs to be $400. What if $400 ain't even possible? What if the PlayStation 5 has to be $6 and the Xbox Series X has to be $7 or $8? What if games go up to $70, $75? Xbox Live and PSN Plus goes up to $20, $25. What if any of that stuff happens? Games get delayed. You're going to have to look for the most feasible solution to do your gaming. And your most feasible solution might be cloud gaming because it lacks the need for dedicated devices. And now that you got all these internet companies that are lifting bandwidths in the light of this pandemic, what better time than now to start trying this stuff out in preparation of those scenarios? So I say all that to say this. I see people signing up for GFN, cool. But in addition to that, you need to weigh out all your options. I know Google Stadia's base isn't available just yet, but I highly urge a lot of people to go look for buddy passes, start asking people for buddy passes, start following Stadia content providers like myself. Like Stadia Cast, like Stadia Weekly, like my homie Brian, like my homie Chase, and Stadia Talk. Stadia, go follow all of those content creators and try to get you a buddy pass. And then you can weigh the difference. Okay, what do I really want to invest in? Do I want to invest in GFN or do I want to invest in Google Stadia because it's the biggest bang for my buck? And then if this thing gets more complicated and more severe, as Vajra, alludes in this scenario, then you're best equipped to make the best well-rounded decision for you. So I seriously urge everybody to do that because we could get there. There was the Intelligent Data Center, I forgot the name of them, the well-recognized data firm in relation to gaming. They said it's likely that these things are going to get held behind. Now, I know there's news in China where China is like saying there's no more or whatever, but there's theories behind that. With that being said, we don't know what's around the corner, y'all. So definitely be prepared. And the entry point for a lot of this stuff is free. Get you a buddy pass. Just pursue one. So all this stuff is important, and it was great to see this from Bungie, just to further highlight how important it is how important cloud gaming is in the whole gaming solution. All right. The homie Antonio says this might be a blessing in disguise for Americans because data caps might become obsolete earlier than executed. I get what you're saying, Antonio, and I know you don't mean any malice by that. I would rephrase this as a blessing in disguise. I would say that the positive aspects, if there's any to derive from this, is that this just shows why data caps should be obsolete. I think when I was doing this last week with my good friend Brian, I think we talked about how my brother worked for an internet company. He was VP there, and The internet, and we could all have T1, or we could have all years ago had T1 internet service, but the internet providers capped them purposely to monetize, giving you little driblets of faster speed piece by piece. Everyone could have had, and it was actually costing them money to do that, but they were doing that because they felt like in the long run, we would be able to gouge people more. So we're not giving them the whole carton. We're just giving them little drops of the milk here and there, and we're going to make them pay for it in the long run. So absolutely, data caps are obsolete. But great questions and great comments. All right, next. We're moving laser fast, baby. Xcloud at Game Stack 2020. Do I have now I have a let's see here. Let's do that. Yep. I'm gonna play this. This is my video that I had on the show. I'll play that in the background. So what I did is I have a video up on my main channel, my MM2K channel. All right. So definitely check it out after this, where I talk about the Game Stack. I let the whole Game Stack show present itself. And then after I let it present itself, through the show, I made comments or whatever. But it was very interesting to see. And there's a reason why you don't see Microsoft talking about this at all, because their big thing was they were talking about Xbox Series X and Xcloud and how it's going to be the future, right? So Game Stack is Microsoft's or Gamer Stack, whatever the hell it's called, is Microsoft's version of I/O, but in relation to gaming, right? And watching this Gamer Stack, I found it interesting that I heard the word learning. I swear it was over like the first 10 minutes. I heard the word learning 14 times. Absolutely, Antonio. Yeah, I know. No malice intended. Yes. Yeah. No. But I know, but Antonio, I know you're a cool guy. I know. I'm just saying, the reason why I did that, Antonio, is because I know where your heart was at with that. And I know you meant no malice, but I know where people that watch this, because they're pathetic in their fanboyism. And I know what they would have done is they would have twisted your words to make it seem like you were celebrating it. But Antonio, we've kicked it on other shows. I know the type of person you are. Absolutely. I know you meant no malice by that, my friend. But I just wanted to clear the air because of those type of people that have this pathetic need to make, you know what I mean. You guys know where I'm headed at. But I wanted to clear that air because you know how people get, oh yeah, he was saying that because they're over there celebrating the coronavirus over there. And no, my homie Antonio didn't mean that. And no, nobody is doing that. But we're speaking the truth here. We're putting that to light so everybody's aware from 5,000 feet how all this could operate. So nobody's caught off guard. And we're giving you scenarios to where, hey, try out GFN. Hey, try out Stadia. Hey, try out even Shadow. In my honest opinion, of course, Stadia is premier over all those other services, but give them a try. I don't want to shelter you from anything just so you can agree with me. Hey, my truth is my truth. I could care less what anybody else thinks about that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm here to give perspective to people that might feel the same way I do about this that haven't experienced it yet. You know what I mean? But you made a great point, Antonio, and I know exactly, you know what I'm saying, what you meant. Big ups to the homie David Crosby with the W. He said, happy Thursday, gamers. Appreciate you, Dave. Appreciate you, Mr. Crosby, the whole government out there. All right. So with that said, we are now back to Xcloud at GameStack, right? So this is it. What you're seeing on the screen is the actual server blade. It looks like my toy box back when I was 14 years old. I'm saying the toy box. You had a toy box? Yeah. If y'all know if y'all had a toy box and you had your old consoles that were all broken up all in there and stuff like that. That's what the hell that looks like. But I digress. That being said, Mr. Crosby, Mr. Crosby says, I thought we talked about this yesterday, or am I mistaken? No, Mr. Crosby. Sorry about that. That was very rude of me to be blowing the boogie woogies alive on air. But y'all know how I am. I'm old, man. Fred Sanford over here. I can't help myself. Mr. Crosby, this is a weekly podcast called the Stadia Stream Connect podcast, where I go over all the news. This was the focal point of our news yesterday, sir. But I'm bringing this to light, and I did this on another channel. So I'm glad you support me on my other channel. But my Stadia followers, I don't want to say Stadia, my Stadia followers, the people that indulge in this platform, because I'm nobody special, probably didn't get to see this, sir. I'm glad you did. And now you should be a subject matter expert. I am so glad for you, sir. But let's be mindful of the other viewers. I appreciate you. All right. That's my good friend DC. He try to rile me up. I can't stand that baby jabby. Anyway, here's some of the biggest takeaways from this. I thought this was very interesting, and there's a reason why Xbox ain't high like this. They're going around trying to slap around PlayStation as far as perception is concerned over T-flops and gigahertz. All right. But like I said, I heard the word learning 14 times, I swear, within the first 3 to 10 minutes. And the other big takeaways is, according to this presentation, they still are ways to go to get from behind the curve. This is a multi-year process. They even said that in their own words, a multi-year process. Excuse me, as far as their development of Xcloud. However, they've stated that they plan to release Xcloud alongside of Series X, whether that be 2020, whether that be next year because they're postponed, but they're going to be released side by side retail. And the strategy is called Better Together. It sounds like some Mork and Mandy, I don't know, but it's Better Together. Better Together. I don't know, but I don't work at Microsoft. That's their plan. Anyway, they're also focusing on, no, I will never sing again. Don't worry about that. They are focusing on big on optimization after publishers and developers allow games to be on the platform. Now, what the hell does that mean, MM2K? Well, when games, the way that their SDK kits or whatever the hell, when a game is developed for Xbox from here on out, it's automatically developed for Xcloud. It's just a flip of the switch that allows it to be played on Xcloud. But that doesn't mean that the process is done. Just because it's playable on Xcloud doesn't mean it's optimized for Xcloud. Then comes in optimization to get frame rate stable and resolution and the graphic user interface and all other stuff. And Xbox said that they're going to work on that themselves. They're going to work on doing that themselves, right? Opposed to the devs doing it on their end. And I get it. Here's the problem, though. And I know this from a managerial standpoint. I used to have a team that I managed that handled the scanning of all of our important documents to keep everything in the cloud, right? And then we shred them. So prior to you, if you were an account representative in our area and you wanted to bring over documents to be scanned, you had to make sure that you took all the paper clips out and this is just trivial stuff, the paper clips out, and that you photocopied everything that needed to be photocopied so it could come through clear on the scanner, right? So our account representatives one time said, you know what? We're overworked. We're overhauled. And they came to me and they said, we don't want to take out the paper clips and stuff. We want your team to do it. Now, if you think about it this way, there were 130 account reps on our particular area, and I only had 3 scanners. Meaning I only had 3 people that scanned. So these 3 people were now going to, instead of just putting work through, because we had hundreds of thousands of documents a month that we processed. So instead of putting through the documents, looking at them for clarity, making sure that everything was batched together and processed together, now these people got to go and stop what they're doing, go to a receptacle or whatever the hell, and pull out paper clips and staples. And they got to do, the 3 people got to do the job of 130 people. So I talked to my boss about it. My boss said, let's give it a shot. So at the end of the month, when I provided stats, my boss said, oh, we're so behind. What the hell happened? I said, we condensed the job of 130 people to 3 people, even though it's trivial as pulling out paper clips, and that takes time to do. And when 3 people can't scan and they're spending half of their time pulling this stuff out, it's just not feasible. So then we had to say, okay, now we get it, guys. We get it, account reps, but now you guys got to do that. And so I say all that to say this, that people may gawk at the Stadia proposal to say having the devs optimize it is not dev friendly. However, trying to take all this work of all these devs and do it in-house at Microsoft and have them optimize it might create a bottleneck that is going to affect the consumer. And we get there's a problem. Sometimes you got to discover what is the best risk to take. Do you want to just give the dev a little bit of work extra to do to scrub this? Or do you want to compound this work of thousands of devs on a few hundred people and bottleneck the process and give them at least some product? And we kind of see the throes of that right now with Xcloud being the least performing cloud service of them all. I get to get people on board. You want to make this as seamless as possible. That is the goal. But if you're getting paid all this money, you got to learn how to have those tough conversations and still make it seem like it's a benefit to them. And that's what separates Stadia. That's what puts Stadia apart from even Xcloud. While their approaches are totally different. Stadia's having those tough conversations now. They're getting beaten in the head right now for in the long run for it to just be the norm. Where Xbox is trying to take the brunt of something for thousands upon thousands of developers, take the brunt of it themselves and create a bottleneck that's going to ultimately lead to an inferior product. And then what's going to happen is they're going to recognize the bottleneck. They're going to start pulling people from projects or hiring more resources to work on just optimizing for Xcloud when those people can be making games. So do you understand why there's 2 totally different approaches here and why you guys got to understand that you can't just look at things on the surface? Sometimes just peel back the veil a little bit and take a look at what's going on. This gamer stack was very eye-opening. And before we move on, just a couple more things that they talk about. They not only do they plan to release this on side of the X, and not only are they focusing big on optimization after the publishers and developers allow the games to be on both platforms simultaneously, but they brought up the term quote-unquote cloud native games. Now you may be saying to yourself, what the hell is that, MM2K? What the hell is a cloud native game? And a cloud native game, oh, hold on. Let me put my background back here. Hold on. That's why I look so damn dry. Uh-oh. There we go. That's why I look so damn dry. I didn't have my background. All right. But they want cloud native games. And what are cloud native games? Well, they didn't go in too much detail. But here's what they said, and I'm going to tell you what they said and tell you what I surmise it means. They want cloud native games that are going to take full advantage of the cloud because they admitted, Xbox admitted, they just admitted, and they're about to drop this $600 or $500, whatever the hell this box is going to be. They're about to drop this expensive box on you, and they admit it. That even after you buy this box, there are going to be things that could be done better in the cloud that can be done on the box. They call it frictionless gaming. And the term friction relates to some of the bottlenecks that are within hardware that are dedicated hardware that are not present in the cloud. They admitted it. This is their term that they've coined, frictionless gaming. So they said there's going to be games that we're going to build specifically for the cloud that take advantage of the cloud. And they said that they're going to roll this initiative out in Asia because in places like South Korea, where they started to see higher numbers there than they did in the U.S. over Projekt Xcloud, this would make more sense there. And I get that. And that's understandable. And I don't think that's a bad idea at all. But what it shows people is that Microsoft themselves, the same people that say cloud gaming is only good when you're away from your console, have admitted that frictionless gaming leads to a more innovative experience, and that's only possible via what? The cloud. That was my biggest takeaway from that. Very interesting video. I implore people to check it out after this one. But the term frictionless gaming and cloud native games, that just opened my eyes, along with them saying learning. Like I said, it sounded like speaking math. Learning. Remember that from the 80s? I'm telling my age there. You turn on the thing and it says, what are we learning? The creepy ass robot voices from back in the 80s, Max Headroom and company. But you heard that heard that over a dozen times, meaning the learning that Google Stadia has already been through over the past 9 years, they're in the middle of that right now. And that answers why Xcloud, in a lot of parts, Xcloud is at the bottom of the barrel as far as cloud gaming services are concerned. Now, because they're going to release this simultaneously, they must have some confidence in the product in some regard. So maybe they were talking past tense and they just made it sound like it was present tense to fool all of us in this game stack presentation. And maybe they're going to say, all right, now with the 2.0 version of Projekt Xcloud, and we're going to call it something else, Xbox Series X Air or Space or whatever the hell they call it. Now you can get at least 60 frames per second gaming on your Xbox Series X games. If they reveal something like that, then, all right, if you fool me, shame on me. You know what I'm saying? So let's keep a close look at this space because it's very important on how things are going to derive in the future. All right, let's go to the chat. Antonio says, laugh out loud, sounds like some anime power friendship type ish. It does. We're in this together. All right. And our last topic before we get to Q&A, let's get rid of this. Our last topic before we get to Q&A is gaming news. We got some gaming news here, people. First and foremost, Doom Eternal's coming, baby. Doom Eternal's coming, baby. Oh, crappity dappity. I didn't mean to do that. Copy that. Let me do this. Oh, come on, man. All right, there we go. Woo! Doom Eternal is coming, and guess what? Excuse me, it's already getting great Metacritic scores. It's already getting great Metacritic scores. And as you can see here, 7 hours until the game is released. And guess what happened? 7.5 hours. And guess what's going to happen, guys? At midnight, I'm announcing here that on my platform, Stadia, on our, excuse me, shame on you, MM2K, on our platform, meaning mine's and yours, we own this together. On Stadia Dosage, we're going to be playing Doom Eternal live. Now, don't, at launch, we're going to do the midnight launch. Now, don't expect me to go off if it doesn't work like how I did with the Division. That was totally different, baby. That was different. But, oh, look at that. Look at that fidelity. Now, let me bring this up here. Let me bring this up here. Look at that, baby. Look at that, baby. Look at that game, baby. Looks great. We're going to stream this live at 12:01 when it becomes available on Stadia. So be there. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have a lot of fun. I'm gonna get my ass kicked all over the place because I'm not great. I'm not great at Doom. You know what I'm saying? But this is gonna be a fantastic game, right? Say the least. It's gonna be a fantastic experience on Google Stadia. Now, for those of you that know my brief history in regards to this game, I feel some type of way about another developer, Ed, and it pains me that my favorite developers are doing me dirty when it comes to Stadia. Because remember, the guy that's in charge of let's move that out of here because I don't know. I don't want to get in trouble for streaming something I'm not supposed to. Let's go. Let's do this. Let's go to. Yeah, let's go here while we're looking at this. But and the reason why I put up that Metacritic of 90 there at on for Doom Eternal is because this is the closest experience that you're going to get to Stadia. Because they're both 1800p. And all the other ones are 80. All the other Metacritics for Doom Eternal are 89 or something like that in the higher 80s. And I think this is 1800p because it looks the best. It's the best version that they've seen so far. Now we're going to see what it looks like on Google Stadia, and I'm pretty sure it's going to look fantastic. If Division 2 is any indicator, I wonder what that base resolution is at. But if Division 2 is any indicator, it's going to look fantastic, right? And that being said, I was a little disappointed, though, because at GDC last year, the head of Ed, I forget, his name loses me right now, got on stage and said that Doom Eternal was going to be true 4K, meaning it was going to be the 2160p resolution. It's 1800p resolution, which isn't horrible. The problem is that it felt like that there was parity with Xbox because of some things that were happening. Like, why is it, we highlighted them in previous episodes. So I don't want to go over everything in totality, but why is it all of a sudden it's supposed to be true 4K, but then it's only 1800p now, and the Xbox Series X happens to be 1800p as well. You know what I mean? Like, I just found that too fishy. And so we raised hell about it. And we're also raising hell now because here goes something else to take a look into. Right? Here goes a tweet that I had not too long ago, where I say, what's with all this apparent special treatment Doom Eternal is getting on Xbox? First, Stadia's version looks to have been bumped to have parity with the X. Now preloads for them are extra early. If it's a policy thing, explain D2 Shadowkeep. Now give me 1 second. Let me take care of something and I can explain all this to you. Hold on 1 second. Now follow me now. What do I mean by all this? Well, if you look at this here, I got enough finger pointing here. Digital preload is now available on Xbox One. So if you have a console or if you have a dedicated device, you can go and preload Doom Eternal right now. Now, granted, Stadia doesn't have to worry about this because it's all in the cloud, but follow me. The only dedicated, there's 3 dedicated devices that this is being supported on. Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC. On only 1 out of the 3 allowed you to download this at the time that I dropped this tweet, which was a while ago, which was March 15th, which was 4 days ago. 4 days ago, you could have went out there, and big ups to the homie Brian for pointing this out to me. 4 days ago, you could have went out there. Marty Stratton, thank you, Brian. Marty Stratton went out there, and he's the one that said it was going to be true 4K, and that ended up being pulled back for whatever reason. But everything smells. Hey, look, it smells like teen parody. I told you I was going to stop singing. Hey, look. R.I.P. Kurt Cobain. But me, Brian. I mean, we'll see if we. Hey, Brian, you think we can get chasing Eddie to follow? We're going to do a Nirvana cover band, and we're going to make a song. It smells like teen parody. Because this, you know what I'm saying? This is ridiculous. Got up on stage. You were so adamant. You said because of Vulkan that this was, and I got something to say about Vulkan in a little bit, but because of Vulkan, this was going to be 4K 60 easy. You went across the globe like you were already a cover band, showing this to everybody. Some of the biggest Stadia haters even said, I don't know why Stadia is not showing more Doom in this 4K 60. It looks marvelous. They need to show this to get more people on board. I heard this all the time. So you go around the globe as the Nirvana cover band before the parody. You're showing Doom 4K 60. Now all of a sudden you can't do it. Now all of a sudden you can't do it. When it's time to put it in our hands, now all of a sudden you can't do it. Now all of a sudden you can't do it. I'm just saying, help me understand. Help me understand. So then in light of that, we have this again. It's now available on Xbox One. They can go preload it right now. Well, they could have preloaded it 4 days ago, but the PlayStation people and the PC people had to wait till a couple days ago to download it. And this is the bull crap that I'm not a fan of. They say preload date and time discrepancies are due to platform policy differences. In other words, to give you this illusion that Xbox requires you to do this, so that's why they had to do this. But boom goes the dynamite. I want y'all to explain to me, just a few months earlier, when Destiny 2 Shadowkeep released, how come this happened? In preparation for launch of Destiny 2 Shadowkeep, Destiny 1 and 2 will be taken offline for maintenance Monday, 9:30. This maintenance will last for approximately 24 hours and will end with the launch of Shadowkeep on 10/1. So this person asks, what's with consoles, or do we not get to preload? I mean, it's not like PlayStation 4 has 2 hours of copy time. We don't need it. And Bungie responds, consoles, as in all of them, will be able to preload during offline maintenance listed above. That's only 24 hours before release. So, if what Bethesda is alluding to, that the discrepancies is due to platform policy alone, how come here Xbox gets to download it 4 days early, but here they only get 24 hours? What type of policy is that? I know what policy it is. You know what policy it is, Brian? Fatal Charade. You know what policy that is? Mr. Crosby. You know what I know what policy it is. It's bullpucky. Big ups to the homie Stadia Rocks. Great content provider. Also is a cast member on the Hellified Funny TGOS podcast, the Glory of Stadia podcast, hosted by Wingy with Ralph, Andy Morphs, Stadia Rocks, and of course Wingy Gaming. Great show. On the last episode, they talked about this. I believe it was the last episode. They talked about this. And big ups to the homie Stadia Rocks. And we got to get him on the show. Can somebody get me a hold of Stadia's Rock's agent? I need his agent ASAP. We got to get him on the show because Stadia Rocks is a developer. And don't listen to me spitting all over my pop filter, caking it up with coronavirus. No, let me stop. I'm getting too silly here. Don't listen to me. Listen to the devs. We support the devs. Listen to the devs. And my homie Stadia Rock said, it's not too hard to fathom that whether there's a marketing deal here, whether Xbox has marketing rights or not, it's not too hard to fathom that somebody from Microsoft picked up the phone. Hey, Ed, how's it going? Mark Stratton, how you doing, man? Oh, how's the wife and kids, man? Great. It was good seeing you at the soccer game. Hey, by the way, I heard that y'all dropping that Doom Eternal True 4K on Stadia. Yeah, we're going to do that, man. It's a great platform, man. What's the possibilities of you guys being able to do it with y'all? Well, I mean, I'm not going to, dog yours in the light of theirs, but it just isn't possible with the X. Then, Phil the Jaguar or Smill. Let me not name any real Smill. The Jaguar cores, they're not working in our favor here. Well, I tell you what, Mark. That's a shame. And it's kind of embarrassing. And I would hate for us to be so embarrassed that it makes us as a company feel a certain way in regards to future interactions. Huh? Schmiel? What are you implying there, Schmiel? Oh, no, I'm not implying anything. Just call me a fortune teller right now. Mark, if we get embarrassed, we feel some type of way about that. And we got future deals. We got this big Xbox Series X coming in. And we got a lot of great things with Bethesda happening. We rode y'all. Hey, look, man, we had y'all's back all through that Fallout 76 debacle. We took one for the team because we had the marketing rights to that damn game. So if our biggest competitor can take one of the biggest games of 2020 and make it look better than ours when everything else supposedly looks better on ours, if that happens, we're going to feel some type of way about that. I'm not implying anything. I'm telling the future. Okay, Mark, you have a wonderful day. See you at the next soccer game. Boop. Now again, Stadia Rocks didn't do all that embellishing. That was me from the School of Arts. That was MM2K from the School of Arts, right? You know what I'm saying? On my Shakespeare kick, right? That was all me, right? But what Stadia was saying is that conversations like that and not vain happen all the time, whether there's a marketing deal or not. Now, I suspect, I'm not 100% sure, but I suspect that Xbox has a marketing deal. And along with that, though, Stadia decided to partner with Doom, or they were approached by Bethesda because they're both on Vulkan. Bethesda thought that they could, they could thread the needle, you know what I'm saying? And have a marketing deal with somebody else, but then at the same time be working with the competitor to make the competitor's thing look better. And somebody picked up the phone and said, Now, whether there's a marketing deal behind that or not, it doesn't make sense no other way. Bethesda and Ant are some of the most competent and most awarded and some of the most polished developers out here in the game. There is no way. And then Bethesda on the side is working on their own cloud thing, so they know how this works. There is no way that Ant Software, as polished and as decorated as they are, came out there and was so adamant about true 4K, went around the globe showing it like they was the Beatles going all around on a war tour, if it wasn't capable, if it wasn't possible. Somebody picked up the phone and had that, what we call and look, again, this is nothing mean. This is a true saying in the business world, the Fortune 500 world. Somebody picked up the phone and had a coming to Jesus speech with Ant Software and said that thing bet not perform better than our box over here. And I know people look at me again and say, MM2K, why are you focusing on this negativity? It's still going to look great, but it's not about it looking great. I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to love this thing. But what I am not going to let slide are these filthy, disgusting, and repulsive actions that happen behind the scene that affect us gamers. I just said not too long ago, I don't care, due to the coronavirus pandemic, I don't care what cloud gaming platform, just go out there and get one while you're hunkered in, right? It makes me no difference because I care about the gamer at the end of the day. But I point all this stuff out for y'all to understand. I don't care how cool the limbo shirt is that the person wears. I don't care how soft-spoken they are. I don't care how many times they say, well, I'm not trying to be mean against anybody, but I'm just saying this, that. I don't care how many times they say that bull crap. Doing everything in your best interest and balancing that with them being successful is not what you're looking to do. And you got people out here talking about, I don't want to take things away from gamers. That's bullpucking. That's bullpuck. Look at your screen. Let me make this a little bit bigger. That's bullpucking. And I don't mind exclusive content. I don't mind exclusive deals. But what I don't like is exclusive features. That's what made me, look, I was a day one Destiny 2 buyer because of my emphatic love of Destiny 1. I canceled both of the orders for me and my son was upset when I found out that because of the exclusive deal that Bungie and Activision primarily had with PlayStation, they wasn't even allowed to announce that there would be HDR on the Destiny 2 version on Xbox. Now, in all likelihood, it was going to happen, but I don't play that garbage. I'm not in for that. You're not getting my dime supporting that stuff. So I tweeted Mark Noseworthy, like he knows who the hell I am, and I said, order canceled. Look it up, at MM2K, Mark Noseworthy, order canceled on Twitter. And with all that happening, I don't support it. I kept the same energy before I even knew what the hell a Google Stadia was. So all these features features. I want to hold back features because my machine ain't capable is holding back technology. Having exclusive content is one thing, but when you tell another platform or you throw a monkey wrench in a platform being able to shine, instead of you just making your platform better, that's unacceptable to me. But at the end of the day, even though we got all that, I still will say, and I still will stand firm behind, that even if Microsoft's version has slightly better textures, even if they're both running at 1800p and Microsoft's version has slightly better textures, I still believe wholeheartedly that the version, and here goes a tweet that defines that I put out here. I wholeheartedly believe that the version on Stadia will be better. Why? No loads, no need for storage, same fidelity from or close to fidelity from the cloud on the go, even from a browser, without expensive hardware. I'm going to go with the 10.7 teraflop format. No, thank you. And I sent that in response to big up to Old School G. He's a big time Xbox fan, but he's a cool guy. Got nothing against him. And he would, being slick and saying Xbox One X is still a monster, 6 teraflops over 10.5. When what he was saying in regards to Stadia. I still think that the Stadia version is going to be superior because of those other things out on the periphery. I just don't like the fact that we got somebody that's supposed to be staunch for the gamer, that don't want to keep things from other gamers, that is doing just that. The audio don't match the visuals, period. Now let me go to my chat. Antonio said they on some bull-ish. Xbox gave them the money policy. Facts. Facts. And it's repulsive practices. But that's why you don't trust none of these execs. Schmil-Smitzer. Schmil only said that because they wanted to partner with PlayStation. And in partner with PlayStation, not aggressively pursuing exclusive content was part of that foray. As clearly seen, they could give two craps less about being fair. They give two craps less. So just wanted to make sure I show you guys that. All right. Two more things and we're going to get to the whole, we're going to get to questions. All right, here goes a big ups to my homie, Sean Livingston, a.k.a. Frame Pleurosi. This dude got 1,000 aliases all over the place. Needle Stick. I mean, I don't know what every platform is a different name. He must got warrants. But big up to Sean Livingston, right? He sent me this tweet. Give me a second to blow my nose. Hold on 1 second. Woo! Okay. All right. So he sent me this tweet. I can't find my mouse. And the tweet says, Chronos Group launches ray tracing for Vulkan API. And this is a big deal as it relates to Google Stadia because, Stadia is based on, now again, and correct me where I'm wrong because I know we got some techies here in the chat. Vadra, somebody explain this to me. From what I understand, that Vulkan API is what Stadia is based off of instead of DirectX 12, right? Or I'm not quite sure how it works. Whatever. Excuse me. But because of that API, the same thing that Bethesda said was going to help create Doom Eternal to be 4K 60 on the platform. Because of that, this Kronos group has officially created ray tracing for Vulkan. And it reads like this: today, after much anticipation, Kronos group. Hold on, let me make this bigger. Let me make this a little bit bigger. It says, today, after much anticipation, Kronos Group is finally unveiling their ray tracing solution for Vulkan API. This has been long awaited since and even before the launch of Nividia's RTX GPUs and accompanying software, which has been underwhelming for many in delivering ray trace graphics. Vulkan-based ray tracing could not come at a more opportune time, given the launch of AMD's RDNA 2 GPUs and the new Xbox and PlayStation, all of which will be arriving this year with ray tracing support. Vulkan ray tracing is getting support from AMD, Nividia, Intel, Imagination Technologies, and other companies. Though these ray tracing extensions can be used for graphical overwork, say for scientific work, most people are interested in gaming and how Vulkan ray tracing will impact the gaming experience. At this stage, it's hard to tell, but I hope Vulkan will make ray tracing both more common and easier to run. Currently, RTX is the only major hardware and software solution for ray tracing, and in many ways, it has disappointed. For me, the largest issue with RTX is the lack of titles with support for technology. Nividia has struggled to get RTX in just a few titles that have support for it. Accomplishing this task almost has been difficult for the company. Though many primarily criticized RTX's poor performance and visual quirks, it is really the lack of software support that jeopardizes Nividia's ray tracing ambitions. Vulkan ray tracing should fix that. And they finish off by saying, I expect ray tracing to get a lot more momentum thanks to all these companies united behind Kronos Group to ensure the software side of things doesn't hinder ray tracing. It's a good thing. Rivalries in the hardware market aren't getting in the way of making good software, and good software is much easier to attain when these companies work together rather than by themselves. So, wow. So one of the things that I've noticed that, and well, before I get into my spiel, Vajra said, yeah, this is a big deal for Stadia. And Vajra, because again, I'm not the SME, it's an industry term from subject matter expert, because I'm not the subject matter expert here. If you want to allude in the chat why this is such a big deal, feel free to do so. But one of the biggest things for me that I will say, where GFN really, besides the catalog of access for games, even though it's not stable, people are yanking their stuff left and right. But one of the biggest things that I felt went in the favor of GFN over Stadia, well, the only other thing really is the ray tracing. Getting that ray tracing on there makes a difference. Even though there was ghosting issues, a lot of them on GFN, and pixelation issues, those details, that ray tracing, those shadows, and then the textures as well, that definitely popped, and it definitely made the client experience better than the browser experience before the 4K came out. So if Stadia can even get software ray tracing, again, if Stadia can even get software ray tracing, this is going to be a big deal. And Va just basically said that earlier, as we said. He said it's going to be a big deal. But ray tracing, I think, at any level, to go on top of the great fidelity that we already had, it's going to be superb for the system, and it's going to mean a lot. So, I was ecstatic when I saw this, and really this should have been higher up in my my catalog of things. But we just had so much news and what I wanted to go over in so little time this week, because I got so much content that I'm doing today that I thought it was important. So definitely check that out. Great article. I'm gonna leave a link to it right now. Charles Arand says, while you're in Twitter, I sent you some links. Let's take a look, good brother. Let me move this thing. Get this thing out of my way. All right. Charles, did you Charles, can you do me a huge favor, good brother? Send them to me via direct message them to me, because as you can imagine, I get so caught up in this bibble babble, this console war bibble babble. A lot of times I want to block a lot of these people. Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me see. Oh, okay. Great article. Let's talk. We could talk. Hey, okay. Great article. Oh man, that's awesome. Yeah, when you come across these, do me a favor, good brother. Send them to me in my DM, because I literally got 50 messages right now from all this silly stuff, people going back and forth over teraflops, and I really don't. I really don't care about this stuff, right? I don't care about it at all. I want to see some games. So, all right. So, no, thank you, my good friend. This is interesting. We'll get into this in a little bit. But with that being said, yeah, man, it's interesting to see. And can you imagine? Oh, you tried to send it. Hold on. Why won't they let you? Oh, they wouldn't. An error occurred. Wait a moment. Try again. Okay, they wouldn't let me. So for those of you, yeah, send them in chat. Yeah, do that. Send them in chat. That's great. Yeah, do that. Definitely, because they're unadulterated. If you guys can't hear in the background, my phone is literally buzzing every second. Because look, they're going crazy in the DMs. They're going crazy online, like, and I really don't care. it's all silly, stupid stuff, but whatever, you know. If they like it, I love it. Whatever. With that being said, let me bring up my homie Vaz. He says it makes multi-platform development much easier. Okay, gotcha. Wow, man, I can't wait. Can you imagine if Doom had ray tracing in it? You know what I'm saying? And it will be. You know, once this is implemented, it will have it. And guess how much extra it's going to cost us to get it, y'all? $100. You think how much you think it's going to cost us to get that extra ray tracing on Stadia? 500, 4, 3, 2, even $150? Nope, zero. It's already baked into the platform. That's what makes it so great. That being said, yeah, man, excellent. I love all these new developments, and then the fact that ray tracing is likely down the pike is going to be great. All right, so we're going to go over this last article. Then part of the question and answer session, I'm going to go over what my buddy Charles had dropped here. Next is something that I thought was very interesting, was this article from Tech Radar. Let me blow it up here. So Tech Radar dropped the list of the best games for Google Stadia, and the reason why I thought this was important to highlight, because we ain't seen a lot of people talking positive about Google Stadia as far as equating best to anything happening on Stadia. So let's go over the list real quick. And it's And it's great that a lot of these games. Oh, bullpucky, what happened? It's great that a lot of these games are on sale. Okay. Now y'all can see. Let me do this because I didn't want to. I made something larger that I didn't want to. Okay, there we go. All right. I got okay, good. All right. Thank you, Charles. I appreciate you, good brother. Oh, hold on. Okay, you got two good articles up in this piece. So the first game is Assassin's Creed Odyssey, my game of the year for 2019. I love that game. Of course, No. Assassin's Creed Odyssey was my game of the year for 2018. My game of the year of 2019 is Borderlands 3. Darksiders Genesis is a hell of a game. It's a hell of a game. So definitely, that's worth it. Destiny 2 the collection, I think it was a good value. There's a couple of things that hampers the Destiny 2 experience to me. Number one is there's so much going on that it's hard to get a grasp of what the hell is going on, right? So it's definitely not a good solo experience to where with Destiny 1, I played it solo all the time. And then what the icing on the cake was getting on with my friends. Also, too, if you want a good group experience, you have to play with a squad. You got to have a clan or a squad. And because the fact of the matter is, just getting into random sessions with gamers on Stadia is hard to do, again, because of the sparse nature of the player base, in particular that game. Then they got Football Manager 2020. I've never gotten to the Football Manager games, but for those that like that, that's great. And here's one that I really thought was important to put up here, was Guilt. Why did I say that was important? Because I'm going to go here real quick. Guilt got the raw end of the stick, I feel, from reviewers. Only 17 people reviewed it, and it got a Metacritic of 68. And they were saying silly stuff. It's not the killer app for Stadia. Like like this was supposed to be God of War. And I think that wasn't doing the game justice, because everybody that I know that has played the game outside of these elitist, cloud hating reviewers, they say nothing but good things about Guilt. So it's great that it's on this list. Then you got Kind. Now, not particularly my taste. It's like an indie puzzler game, but they got it up here, and that's great because, again, remember, Stadia doesn't have any indie games, right? And Antonio says Division over Destiny. Absolutely. But you'll be surprised. Division's not even on this list. Metro Exodus. Metro Exodus is on here, and that's a fantastic game. Here goes a game that I'm falling more and more in love with. Is Rage 2. Rage 2, I love this game. It gives me a Crisis 2 feel. And I just wish they put a little bit more in the game, like as far as the journey. I wish they would have I wish it was not as empty as it was, and they filled a lot more in the game. They put a lot more in it, because it's giving me that Crisis 2 feel. And I love Crisis 2 was one of my favorite games last gen. I love Crisis 2. And they got Red Dead Redemption up here, of course. You know what I'm saying? So I think that was a cool lineup, and it was a cool article. Definitely look at Tech Radar, best Google Stadia games out there. All right, people. Antonio says, and Guilt is a goddamn amazing converted a few of my friends to Stadia with Guilt. Hey, I believe it. I can dig it. I still got to try it out myself, but I can dig it because it I've heard nothing but good things about it. And what I've demoed of the game, it looked fantastic. It's just a shame it got railroaded. That's the word I was looking for. All right, y'all. We are now going to go to the final part of this podcast, which is the Q&A section. And as a reminder, if you have ideas and things that you want to see Google implement, because we're putting everything together and I'm trying to figure out how we're going to do this. We're going to do like a raffle for like maybe we're going to vote on all the ideas, and the top voted idea gets like a premiere edition or something. We're going to figure something out. But right now, the ideas that I have, and if I forgot any, just add them in there and I'll add them there. that this is called Stadia. You know, we want to see Stadia implement, and we're going to try to communicate this to Google. You know, and I'm pretty sure that they're open. They're very open people. And my first suggestions were, as far as implementation, I would like to see is I would like to see more than one person at a time be able to share a game on a family plan. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I get it. It's going to be a difficult sell because you're young and publishers have to go with that, and it's going to be hard, but I would love to see that. Also, but the biggest thing I really want to see is 1440p super sampling. So if I got 4K, if I got my thing on quality level, but I'm playing on a 1440p screen, I would like you to shrink. I would like you to do a cross balance between the balance with the 60 frames per second, but I want you to super sample it down to 1440p. That would be fantastic. There are some plugins that I think do just that. Zero Games, for me, if you're watching, you had an idea for some reason it erased here in my document. But Cloud Zero also had more crossplay, to implement more crossplay. And we saw that with Division 2, but we're going to leave that up there. Bippity Bop also said 30-second captures, video captures. And I think that's a fantastic idea as well. You can submit your idea right here, Charles, whatever you think your idea is, and I'm gonna jot it down. But let's first go to Charles's first article here, which is Stadia 2.10 preps wireless Stadia controller for Android and pro-only games. Interesting. So let's read this real quick. It says the Google Stadia app updated on Android and iOS this week. And while things don't look any different on the surface, we got that Google is prepping to bring wireless Stadia controller support to Android, along with a mention of pro-only games. Oh, so in this APK insight, we've decompiled the latest version of an application, and it says wireless Stadia. Okay, let's go over it. Wireless Stadia controller on Android. One of the most exciting things about Google Stadia is the control was promised that we'd be able to use it conveniently to play our games regardless of what device you plan to play on. The reality we got in November didn't quite line up with this, with only Chromecast Ultra being able to connect wirelessly. With Stadia 2.10, we find an Android app has added a variety of preparations to pair with the Stadia controller. The process should be almost identical to pairing with the Chromecast Ultra, you know, with a linking code. It says apparently this feature has already been a version or two in the making, as version 2.7 from February added images of each D-pad directions on the ABXY buttons. Pro-only games. So with a brief exception of Destiny 2, which just became available for Stadia base members to purchase, every game that has released for Stadia has been available for purchase by those with the Stadia Pro subscription. It appears, hold on, let me read this again, see if I understand this. It says, with the brief exception of Destiny 2, which became available for Stadia base members to purchase, every game that is released for Stadia has been available for purchase by those with the Stadia Pro subscription. It appears that this may be changing according to a new string added in 2.10. Subscription perk offering access to free pro games only pro. While the text itself is vaguely phrased and not particularly interesting, take a look at the translation guide, how it separates free pro games, the games we can claim each month, and only games. For now, we don't have any other information on Stadia's pro-only games. Could look like. A few possibilities come to mind. Or titles like I get it. Okay. So, and I want to talk about this, and thank you, Charles, for dropping this in the chat. Hold on. Oh, goodness. Why is my mouse acting so silly? All right, so let me put Charles down here. Charles Aran got That is a great. That is a great. Oh, what the hell, Charles? That's a great article. Thank you for that, my friend. I appreciate that big time. Let me see here. Mine are for YouTube. The ability to raid. Okay, mine are from YouTube. So let me copy this. I gotta go to YouTube in order to copy this. The ability to raid streams. That's cool. Yep. I like that. So like when my homie Jamani is done, and he says also the ability to show multiple screens. All right, that's cool. Balls around. Continue. Okay. Oh, come on. Continue. I want to put that there. There you go. All right, cool. We got you, good brother. We got you. And if anybody else got any other ideas too. So I want to talk about this real quick. So a big problem with a lot of people was Destiny putting free to play behind a paywall. And I at first, due to ignorance, thought this was a bad move too. But then I had to educate myself. See, I told you I wake up every morning thinking, what can I learn today? And what I learned not today, but at the moment that just hit me is that if I'm Google Stadia and I got a free to play game, and I had this discussion with Chase, in all likelihood, I'm not getting the 30% DLC purchases. You know what I'm saying? Because Stadia is real big on 30%, and a lot of these platforms are like, no, you're not getting 30% of our DLC purchase. You know what I'm saying? So maybe it could be that financial issue. So if I'm just letting any Joe Schmo with Stadia base go and play a free-to-play game on my platform, I'm not benefiting at all. I'm not getting the DLC purchases or nothing. So there has to be some type of perking. You got to be invested at least as a pro member. So it makes perfect sense. It's just that multiplayer isn't locked behind you know what I'm saying? Multiplayer isn't locked behind a paywall, which is a better proposal than what Xbox is using. Because Xbox locks multiplayer and free-to-play behind a paywall. Meaning a lot of free-to-plays are multiplayer games anyway. You know what I'm saying? So if you want access to them, you got to pay. You got to pay for Xbox Live. And this right here is a better proposal. So I had to stand corrected. There is no paywall for multiplayer. There's a paywall for free to play, but it makes a lot of sense why there's a paywall for that. So great article. Now the second article from Charles is, let's see here. That's my Nightbot. And let me go to Charles's second article. If I can find it. Uh-oh. Let me see here. All right, so that's okay. Here we go. This one is a little less surprising, but it's good to see that it's happening. Rainbow Six Siege is coming to PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and Google Stadia. Ubisoft Montreal announces that Rainbow Six Siege will be coming to Google Stadia as well as to the PlayStation 5. Okay, so it will be coming to Google Stadia as well as PlayStation 5 Series X. It's just entered its 5th year, and that's great. I want to see. Okay, I want to see when is it coming to Stadia though. It says currently there is no word exactly when next gen version of Siege will launch, as the consoles don't have release dates yet. Ubisoft has stated that it plans to have the game available at launch. Let's see here with Stadia though. Let's do this because Stadia. Okay, let's go up. All right, let's go. Okay, so let's see. During the game reveal. Okay, no, I don't. They haven't give. Why didn't they give a date on Stadia? I don't see a date for Stadia because we ain't got to worry about no launch. Yeah, yeah, I don't see. That's where I say. That's why I say what I say about Ubisoft. I'm keeping an eye. They're you know, you got to keep an eye. Bippity Bop, what's going on, good homie? Good to see you. Good to see you. But yeah, those are great articles. Great articles. Thank you. But it's coming to Google Stadia, and that's fantastic. I would just like to know when, because Stadia is out right now. So I'm trying to figure out why they didn't announce when it's coming to Stadia. That should be a little bit more defined. You know what I mean? But with that being said, all right. Any more questions, guys and gals? We're over the 2-hour mark. Any more questions? This was a great episode. We covered a lot of ground in 2 hours. We covered a lot of ground. We did great. We did great. So if we don't have any more questions, I think what we're going to do is we're going to wrap up the show. All right. So with that said, I want to thank everybody that tuned in to episode 11. Thank you so much. Hold on. Let's be real. Fatal Charade. Nobody's going to play a competitive esports game like Siege on Stadia. Oh, here we go now. So here's the problem with that. And I'm glad Fatal Charade put that out there, because it leads to a lot of misconception that's out there about Stadia, and that's okay. Don't attack him, y'all. That's my homie Fatal Charade. He's a long-time supporter. He don't know no better. Lord forgive him for his sentence. Couple of things about that, Fatal, and I know you're a tech guy, so I would just say, after explaining this, I would just follow up and brush a little bit up on the I/O, the Google I/O, to solidify what I'm saying here. So there's two things that comes with that, because you're talking about latency. So as it relates to latency, there's perceived latency, you know what I'm saying? And then there's actual latency. Perceived latency is the type of latency that alters and has the big time ramifications as far as gameplay is concerned. And what Stadia was able to do is make perceived latency very, very minimum. That's the latency that the human eye and the body reaction can even fathom exists. And if you don't believe me, you have to play Google Stadia. Don't just regurgitate phrases that people say. Well, of course there's going to be latency. There's perceived latency, and then there's actual latency. And to get a better understanding of that, Fatal, you got to watch the Google I/O. That's part one of this. Part two of this is the control machine learning that happens with Google Stadia, with its controls, and just in general with cloud gaming. Now, people laughed at Google Stadia when they said, we have machine learning behind our controls. And they said, what? It's the preemptive learning. What? Oh, it's going to guess where I'm turning right. It's going to walk all the way. No. You shouldn't laugh at that. People that laugh at that don't realize that same type, a lesser advanced version of that machine learning is already embedded in Call of Duty. So the Call of Duty that you're playing right now actually has that machine learning embedded into it. And it doesn't even work as well as it does on Google Stadia. Example, have you ever been playing Call of Duty? You came around the corner, and before you fully came around the corner and was in a position where you got killed, somebody was at that other end and you just died. That is the machine learning when it hiccups a little bit. And that machine learning is implemented on dedicated devices. And what happens is the machine learning says, well, even though you didn't fully come around that corner yet, the math says that you were going to die, so you got killed. Now, on dedicated devices, sometimes it hiccups a little bit to where you see that, but it don't make you stop playing the game. You continue to play. It's a little bit smoother on platforms like Google Stadia. In that same vein, go ahead and play Destiny on GFN. If you don't believe me, go play Destiny on GFN. Go play a competitive match of Destiny on GFN and see how bad, quote unquote, you fare. Okay? So it's just a matter of us fully educating ourselves and fully getting ourselves experience with this. Let's take Google Stadia out of the equation. And I feel that the latency to response is better on Stadia. But on Destiny 2 on GFN, it's still hellified good. Go enter a Crucible match right now on GFN via Destiny 2, and you'll see what I'm talking about. And you'll see how well you fare. So individuals like my homie Fatal and others that just are hearing this, well, of course there's latency and it's going to bog you down. I urge you to go listen to the Google I.O., and I also urge you to listen to a podcast that I listen to regularly. It's called the Rebel FM. And I want to say about 10 episodes ago, they were talking about Stadia. And they hate Stadia, by the way. They hate Stadia because they hate the idea of Stadia. So this is not coming from a group of Stadia fans. They hate Stadia. They actually think Stadia is going to be dead by the end of this year, which, again, that's their own silliness. But they're industry insiders. They used to work for a lot of publications. They got connections. They know what they're talking about. It's just their opinion on Stadia's longevity is wrong. But they even admitted, they say for people that laughed and gawked at Google Stadia for the machine learning for the controls, they are ignorant. They are ignorant because they don't realize that that same machine learning is embedded in Call of Duty right now, and they're playing Call of Duty left and right. So I urge you guys to be in the know. Listen to Rebel FM. Great. It's a nerdy podcast, but I love it because I love the resource of information I get. Listen to Rebel FM and then check out the Google I.O. and you'll understand that the perceived latency, the latency that the human body can recognize, that is going to impact gaming the way that people are speculating, has pretty much been shrunk down to zero. It's still there, but it's been shrunk down to the perceived latency has been shrunk down to zero. And you can't tell the difference if you're on a dedicated device in most cases than you can or if you're playing a cloud gaming game. And even though I feel it's better on Stadia than it is on GFN, I urge everybody that doubts me, go on GFN right now. It's free. It's free. Go on GFN right now, boot up Destiny 2, make sure you got it on PC, and play some Crucible matches and see how well you fare in those Crucible matches. And come back and you can send your apologies per your blank checks to MM2K PO Box 569. No, I'm just messing with y'all. But that's the truth. It is what it is. The homie Vajra said, here's the thing about that. The latency that you get from streaming is easily offset by near perfect ping to the game servers. Hey, look, I don't know how it works. Vaj look, he's the technical expert here. But I'm telling you, when you get it in your hands, it works. And what I understand about it is what was explained in the I.O., what I heard on Rebel FM. For those that want to be in it, just don't gurgitate, well, the latency, because a lot of people that are mentioning don't even know what the hell they're talking about. Fatal Charade, I know you do. I'm not saying that to you. I know you're a tech guy too. But I'm telling you, you got to experience this, my good brother. Look, don't take it from me. Go download GFN right now. It is free. It is free. And play some Crucible matches on GFN. When you walk away surprised, I want you to imagine that times 3, maybe 4, maybe 5. And that's what you get with Google Stadia. Charles Arand says, sure, we haven't had any news from Stadia yet. Usually they drop something on Thursday and sometimes Friday. The only thing I can figure is that they're going to drop a bunch of news on Monday. I'm hoping. Because we normally get news right before this podcast. They doing me dirty. Bibbidi Bop. I think Base could launch very soon with Doom being the first game that has the play now button YouTube. Oh, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. That would definitely be awesome. Yep. And Charles Arand says, and follow the guys at Stadia Cast at Run Jump Stomp and Dash Me on Twitter. They give out buddy passes. Absolutely. Absolutely. All the time. I love Bill and Lloyd. I love their show. I watch it every Sunday. Faithfully. But yeah, this goes beyond Google Stadia. And this is where we got to put down our pitchforks and our swords and our shields. And we got to speak for cloud gaming in general. When done right, and I say, even though I think there's a substantial gap in a lot of ways between Google Stadia and GFN, GFN is a hell of an experience. I've been in this beta for like over a year and a half. And I've been playing Destiny on it. I've been playing a lot of games on it. GFN at times has some spotty connection issues, but when them connection issues aren't spotty, and you're playing well, and it's a 1v1 match to the platform, you can't tell the difference. You truly can't. So I urge anybody listening to this that has heard that rhetoric, well, the latency, and they show you the 100 milliseconds, there is pure latency, and then there's perceived latency. And the people at Google have been able to splice all this out and understand this better than anybody right now. That's why their cloud gaming platform is superior. Now, is there definitely an edge when you come down to the raw latency? Oh, yeah. But the overwhelming majority of people are not going to be able to take advantage of it. They're not going to be able to take advantage of it. And another thing that I will say is that it's on the lines of keyboard and mouse versus controller. The swiftness in keyboard and mouse, if you give somebody that knows how to use a keyboard and mouse in the same level of a joystick or gamepad, they're going to have better accuracy with keyboard and mouse. With that being said, it still comes down to the skill level of the player. And what we find with keyboard and mouse is that keyboard and mouse players in a lot of ways are a lot more reckless. They're a lot more reckless. And with the crossplay being implemented, we're seeing keyboard and mouse people, if they ain't using no cheats, the keyboard and mouse people, they're not overwhelming the control people. Again, if you take a person, give them a keyboard and mouse that they know how to use with 100% efficiency, and give them a controller with 100% efficiency, 99 times out of 100, they're going to do better with the keyboard and mouse. Period. But again, you're taking the skill equation you're taking the skill set out of the equation too. At a professional level, esports level, those people have a higher perceived latency than the average gamer. So yes, they're going to cross over into that threshold to where the average perceived latency ain't going to apply to them in possibility to where it would make a difference for them. But we're not esports. We're not all esports players. And the same goes with keyboard and mouse. keyboard and mouse doesn't definitively give you a victory. I've seen it firsthand. I couldn't believe it. So I highly suggest that everybody educates themselves on the notion of perceived latency opposed to actual raw latency, and understand how the rapid, I was about to say rapid pack math, how the machine learning, the control machine learning, whatever it's called, as far as the predictive control learning works. It's already embedded in Call of Duty. And last but not least, I'll say this. Now you're going to see it. They attempt to admonish it with the Xbox Series X. But when when Digital Foundry went out to Google, they found instances to where the latency was higher on the Xbox Series X than it was on Stadia. So are you telling people on the Xbox Series X for those games don't play these online? No, they're still playing them online. Right? So, just looking at everything from 5,000 feet. Says, can I play at a triple digit frame rate of GFN or Stadia? I don't know about GFN. You can't play it on Stadia right now, but you can play it. I'm not sure about GFN. You might be able to. So with that being said, again, that all narrows down to the skill of the gamer. You're making it sound like, Fatal, that it's a definitive loss. Everybody's not playing Destiny at 100 frames per second on PC. They're definitely not playing it on console. So are you just referring to cross-play with PC? If you're referring to playing it cross-play on PC, you still might feel okay. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to cross-play versus console, that latency, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you got to 60 frames per second, so that perceived latency is low. They might have an advantage on Stadia because they have the frame rate advantage. So yeah, you definitely just try it out. I'm not sure how high it goes. I believe it might go high. I mean, it's Nividia's proprietary software, so give it a shot. All right. With that said, people, we went 20 minutes over. I think we did good though. We had a very active and very, very, very spirited question and answer session. But with that said, I want to thank everybody for coming through, and I want to thank you guys for your support. We're getting a lot of support on this platform. A lot of people are coming through, and you guys are just, and I owe it all to you guys. You guys are making this platform so popular, and I want to thank you guys so much for all that. Continue to come through. We're going to be doing great things on the channel as far as raffles and all other good stuff. We're also going to be doing a lot of giveaways, and we got a Patreon available via PNTS Network. You can join it right now. We're still working things out, but you can go look at PNTS Network and just look at Patreon. You'll find it. If you want to support this podcast and so much more, go ahead and do that. We got hubs dedicated for Stadia people. You know what I'm saying? So everybody's not, you ain't got to deal with the console-ites. You know what I'm saying? The dedicated device warlords, but we're going to flesh it out over time. So definitely keep an eye out for that. And with that said, I want to thank everybody for coming through. Thank you so much. And you all have a wonderful, wonderful gaming day. Peace.
Stay sick cause I follow my gut. They say I was pushing my luck. I'ma push me a matte all black truck. Oh, I'm not sorry.